Josh Brolin recently set the world on fire. Speaking at the Spotlight panel in Comic-Con 2024, Brolin said they wouldn't make the fans wait for 20 years for Sicario 3. "It's up to me, it's up to Emily, it's up to Benicio," he said, mentioning his co-stars. But let's dial back, because even though Sicario films have been very popular, they are also quite old. Like, the second film came out 6 years ago, so how come can we expect a third movie right now? And what that third movie be about? As you might remember, the original Sicario came out back in 2015. It was directed by the one and only Denis Villeneuve. Yes, the guy that directed the latest Blade Runner and both of the Dune films was once the Sicario director. The movie's premise was simple at first glance. It was a brutally honest look at the drug war in Mexico. It touched on themes like American imperial interference, and it included one of Emily Blunt's most gripping lead performances. Well, at least in my opinion. Even though overall the film was critically acclaimed, it can't exactly be considered a financial success. It did earn back its expenses and a bit more, but with a cast like Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, Josh Barenthal. The studio, rightfully, expected a bit more. Did you like the first Sicario movie? Let me know in the comments. So to avoid such financial failure once again, with the second movie changes had to be made. Thus, the Italian director Stefano Sollima was brought on to direct. For those who are into military thrillers, he was the director behind Amazon Prime's Michael B. Jordan movie, Without Remorse. He was also slated to direct the Call of Duty movie, but no one knows what happened to that. But it is fair to say that movies like Sicario were right up his alley. With Taylor Sheridan, writer of the first film, returning, things were looking pretty good. This time, Sheridan and Sollima went toward a pretty unique direction. So the second movie ended up being more of an anthological follow-up, a spin-off-ish standalone movie that followed Benicio del Toro's character. The Day of the Soldado brought us more of the ethically ambiguous, or downright evil characters, with its plot that was slightly reminiscent of Logan. The film ended with a promise of more to come, but like the first film, Day of the Soldado was financially unremarkable, and now the critical acclaim was also in question as critics kept comparing it to the first movie. Which Sicario movie do you prefer so far? The first one or the second one? Can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. A lot of the fans that loved the movie, including yours truly, stuck by the series, however. So it is fair to say that Sicario as a series became a cult classic at this point. And yes, we demand more. Which brings us to today. With 6 years of Sicario drought behind us, we are waiting for something. Like anything. The truth is, this delay was never meant to last this long. As you may remember, last May, there was a joint strike with the SAG and WGA joining forces to demand a fairer pay for the writers and actors that work in the film industry. Producers of the upcoming third film were quoted at the time saying that this strike did affect the third movie's progress. Regardless, the strike is long over now, and from what we know so far, Sheridan is set to return as the writer for the sequel. Do you guys think that he'll deliver a satisfying conclusion to the Sicario trilogy? Do you think there'll be anthological elements in the third film like there were in the second one? Or do you think this will be more connected to the other films? There were also talks of Denis Villeneuve returning some time ago, but that seems unlikely. That being said, let's admit it. The recent Josh Brolin interview has reignited hope for all of us. Returning to Brolin's quote there, even seems to be hope of Emily Blunt reprising her role as Kate Mercer, which would be epic. Before I talk about my theories for the third film though, let's hear it from you guys in the comments. What do you guys think is in the dusty horizons of Mexico this time? So, let's set the scene. As I mentioned briefly before, the last film ended with a recovered Alejandro recruiting Miguel. The current title of the film is said to be Capos, which means boss in Spanish. So it is fair to assume that there will be a focus on authority. I'll also go right ahead and theorize that the film will have an emphasis on Miguel and Alejandro's relationship. But personally, I don't think Miguel will make it to the end, and I reckon his death could come from the hands of Brolin's character. Furthermore, if Emily Blunt's character returns, we can have another point of tension with her and Brolin's character. as she always represented a more conscientious perspective. But whatever happens to Miguel, we know that CIA will have a bigger role in the third film. Do you guys think the Capos in the title refers to the CIA as the biggest cartel in Mexico? It certainly sounds like a direction this movie can go, but let's debate. Who do you think the boss in the title is? Could it be someone we never met? Or are we in for a massive twist? The good news is, the producers have been nothing but excited about the third film. Basil Iwanek, whose producer portfolio includes the John Wick films, has been on record saying that he could watch Benicio play Alejandro forever. Which is something I feel like everyone can agree on. Like, that isn't even open to debate in my opinion. All of us can watch Alejandro for eternity. But it's nice to see him. This excited for the character's return, which brings us to the elephant in the room. When is this thing coming out? It's, let's say, unclear. Going back to Brolin's statement, the story seems to be on a good track, but he did also state that there won't be any movie if the right story isn't found. Even if they finish the script tomorrow with the way other aspects of productions tend to go, we might not see Sicario, Capos until the end of 2025, or even early 2026. Will 2025 be our lucky year in your opinion? Well, we hope so. Whatever happens, you can be very sure that I will have my eyes open, glued to anything related to the upcoming sequel, and letting you guys know about it on this channel. So, for more Sicario 3 updates, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.